Now I have the pleasure to refer to our next speaker, and this is Christian Rakos, the president of the World Bioenergy Association. And Christian, a very warm welcome to you as well. You'll speak about technology innovation and what role that plays. Christian.
Thank you very much. Pleased to participate in this webinar, and I would like to continue where Eddie stopped, which is the issue of sustainability. And I would like to show you how innovation can actually make a very significant contribution to sustainability. Obviously, bioenergy also has sustainability issues. Bioenergy, if you use it with a traditional technology, is a very polluting and very inefficient source of energy. And in fact, more than 3 billion people are still using this source of energy in an inefficient and polluting way. So there is really something to do, and that is what I want to address. And I want to give you 3 examples of how innovation can really make a difference in terms of sustainability. The first is biomass upgrading. There are technologies available that can use very little energy and still improve the quality of biomass as a source of energy very significantly. And then, of course, technologies for combustion, and I will mention 2 for biomass heating and biomass cooking. First, pelletization. Pelletization is a very simple technology. It is the technology that has the least demand for energy to transform a inhomogeneous, a very fluffy, frequently type of material such as straw or other agricultural residues, or also waste from wood processing, into a reasonably good energy carrier that has a high energy density that's easy to use. And to give you an idea, the amount of energy needed to densify biomass to pellets is about 2 to 3% of the energy content. So it is really a very effective way of transforming biomass. So that is the reason why it has been widely used more and more around the globe. Unfortunately, we don't have the numbers from pellet production in China, but they are probably significant, between 10 and 15 million tons. So you can see within the last 20 years, this technology for upgrading biomass has been really successful in many places in the world. The next case study I want to show you is the reduction of emissions of boilers for domestic heating. Many people, not only in Europe, but also in North America and in other regions where it is cold during wintertime, are using biomass for heating. And in the past, these technologies have been very polluting. And what I'm showing you, every spot, every dot in this slide shows you the value, the emission value of a newly introduced biomass boiler in Austria. And as you can see, over the last 40 years, there has tremendous improvement. Emissions have basically declined by a factor of 1,000. So what was extremely polluting 40 years ago today is very, very clean. And even in the last 2 or 3 years, we have now reached a level where we can actually talk of zero emission boilers. So boilers that have lower emission values than natural gas boilers. So biomass can be used in an entirely clean way, and the technology is there. It's not somewhere in the future, it's there, it's available, can be used, and is going to be introduced into the markets in the next couple of years. So that is one example. And another example, and that's already the end of my presentation, because I don't want to cut the time for discussion, is clean cooking. Clean cooking is a major issue. And in this graph, you can see the emission values of traditional forms of wood use for cooking. And I want to reiterate, 3 billion people are still reliant on this type of technology. And you can see there where the red arrow goes, that is the emission value of the fab stove, cook stove, an advanced cook stove that was constructed based on the most sophisticated technologies we have today to improve biomass combustion, computational fluid dynamics. So a computer really simulates the combustion process. And that simulation shows you how to alter your technology to achieve very low emissions. And here you can see the emissions that are now available using agricultural residues, not wood, agricultural residues as a fuel, pelletized agricultural residues as a fuel, are now by a factor of at least 100 lower than traditional biomass use. And this cook stove costs about $50. So it's something that is absolutely possible to disseminate, particularly if carbon credits are available to finance this, because $50 sounds like not a lot of money, but of course for households that are poor, it is a lot of money. But the technologies are there, and I think there is a very significant future for sustainable use of bioenergy, and that's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Christian. I think that it's important to point at where there is technical innovation, and certainly all our technologies, there's still a lot of room to improve technologies. Like cars, we started using them in the end of the 19th century, and they're certainly not the same like they used to be at that time. They're not the same like they used to be 30 or 40 years after introduction, but this technology is still developing. I mean, and that's like with all the technologies. I think we can say that we have the basic technologies, but this innovation still plays an important role.